Welcome to December 14th, and this is either our last or next to last reckless speculation of the end of 2022. I, for one, can't believe it's 2022 is coming to an end. My name's Robbie. Thank you for watching. The first time I'm going to ask if you get through this or any part of it, like, subscribe. We really appreciate it. I know you hate that from YouTube viewers, but we have to do it. To the side of me is Tom Sloan. Tom, how you doing?
Doing good. The usual doldrums of the winter months has got me under wraps. A little lung issue, which I'm sure you can hear in my voice. So, did a breathing treatment, and I'm going to power through this bad boy today. But other than that, looking forward to the impending holidays. See some people.
How is the weather in Michigan?
It's cold. It's 35 and very windy out right now, and allegedly it's going to get pretty bad overnight. So not my favorite time of the year, but hey, that is what it is. When you live in Michigan, you got to deal with it. So.
And beneath me, just on the screen, not in any kind of social status, is Brandon Chain. Brandon, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Been a long day. Was on the road for most of the day today, driving to ATL and back. So glad to be out of the car and off the road, all in the rain today too, the entire way there and back.
I'm not sure there's a worse round trip in a day than Atlanta through Nashville through Chattanooga to Atlanta, and then going back. There's just traffic nightmares.
It's just awful. I did get to stop at Buc-ee's though on the way, which was nice.
That's on my list. I got.
What do you think of Buc-ee's?
Man, it is like a mix between like a Cracker Barrel shop and like a co-op and a Kroger all in one, and and they have 176 gas pumps out front, and it's insane. I mean, they had everything from a deli to what's that?
Did you get anything to eat?
I did not. I was overwhelmed, and I was trying to make an appointment. I was like, I need to dedicate more time to come in here because it looks like a super Walmart. How big it is and all the different sections, and I mean, it looked fantastic. It wasn't lunchtime when I stopped, and just didn't work out.
The first time you're in one, it is just a survive and get out.
Yeah.
I grabbed some beef jerky the first time I was in one, and the second time I kind of knew what to expect, and I was able to grab a pulled pork sandwich off of the
shelf. They smelled delicious. They looked delicious. They were making them there. I mean, they had like a taco thing. They had a whole fresh bakery. I mean, all their beef jerky trays lined up. It was just overwhelming. I was like, I don't have time to sit here and read all these and like go through it all.
You didn't get any Bucky wear or hats or a blow up Bucky doll for your front yard?
Not this time, but I will on the next trip. Now that I know what to expect, I know that I need to allot some time for that stop.
I need to get a road trip going for that place.
Absolutely. So all right. So tonight, as most of our viewers know, we have a little bit of gambling problem, and gambling football is the only way to get you through the holiday season. This is why ESPN still puts on these bowl games. And so what we're going to do is we're going to walk you guys through a little ways to make money. Now, with a disclaimer, we are going to be giving you discounted money because we're going to be doing money line tonight. I'm sure we will comment on the spreads, but we are picking this money line. We're doing it very much in a bowl pick'em confidence kind of way. We're not going to talk about our confidence. We're going to go straight bowl pick'em throughout the bowls. Tell you why we think that. Most of it's going to be based on logic. Some perhaps is based on mascots, but that's how you pick these things. You guys got any questions before we get started? Besides, where's Raj?
No, Raj is his on time. He's still got 3 minutes to be on time for him. So, but no, this is, if you're feeling down the holidays, you need a little extra cash in your pocket, tune in, and let's see if we can make you guys some money.
Oh yeah, well, this one of those things. There's nothing like being around the family and the bowl game comes on. You're like, oh, I've been waiting for this all week long. This is the game I wanted to see.
That's right.
All right. So first off, as a part-time resident of Nassau and Brandon, also we have the Bahamas Bowl. Brandon's a little there a little more often than I am. So we have 6-6 Miami of Ohio versus the UAB Blazers. So Blazers are minus 11.5. So Blazers are the favorite in this game. It's going to be the first one. It's an 11:30 a.m. kick. So going to make that a little interesting. Tom, we'll start with you. Who you like and why?
Well, I probably will not be watching this gem of a bowl game. Give me the MAC representative Miami of Ohio to cover. All right, we're doing money line, aren't we? Dagnabbit.
Yeah.
Give me UAB. I forgot if we were doing money or
points.
I would take Miami of Ohio.
You can notate that in there if you want, but we'll give them a money line pick.
Yeah.
We just need it for the sake of our game. Right. We just need it. Who's your pick? But feel free to give gambling.
Are you keeping track of these, Robbie?
Well, that's why I gave you a sheet.
Well, we don't have, Robbie money over here. You're lucky I got a computer. Sheet. Oh, well, we're dealing with VIPs. I don't have a printer, so I got it on my screen. You're lucky I got that. Give me UAB.
Put Miami's UAB. All right, Brandon, who you like?
Yeah, I think it's UAB. I don't think they win by 11, though. I agree with Tom on that, on the spread. Money line, UAB.
All right, it's early morning. I think the underdog is going to be more prepared. My brother played football at Miami, Ohio. Give me the Red Hawks to win.
Nice. Big upset.
All right. Next, we have the Cure Bowl. I assume that's what it's called and how it's pronounced. The Duluth Trading Cure Bowl. So we have the University of Texas San Antonio Roadrunners plus 2.5 versus Troy. This is looks like a bit of a toss-up here. So the Cure Bowl is going to be played in Orlando. So got a little closer to Troy. Brandon, we'll start with you this time. Who you like and why? Both teams are 11-2, by the way.
They are. This is kind of a pick 'em. It is a little closer to Troy, so I think that's why they're getting the nod here on the -2 from Vegas. They'll probably travel a little better. I like Troy just because that's one of my favorite movies ever with Brad Pitt in it. Troy.
It's good football breakdown. Tom?
If there's no logic, reason to this madness.
If there's logic somewhere, it's that scene where he throws that spear and takes out about 10 guys. Great scene.
Yeah, the beginning, that was the greatest thing. So,
Tom, who do you like?
Even though the Roadrunners have put out the could possibly be the defensive rookie of the year in Worrell. He's a corner. I do like the Trojans of Troy here. Give me Troy.
All right. The fact that you knew a player from this game, I'm going UTSA because if there's an NFL player on the field, I like him.
Yeah, he plays for Seattle. He's got like 4 picks as a rookie. So.
Wait. He's not playing this game?
No. He's from UTSA.
Okay. Never mind.
I was throwing a little tidbit in there just to enhance the.
Never mind. Give me. I think Troy has more fans. I think more fans will be there. I know where Troy is. I know where San Antonio is, obviously, but I don't know actually where that campus is in San Antonio.
Does the winning team get like a lifetime supply of underpants from Duluth Training?
Hey, I've got a good underpants story happened to me today.
Well, like $30 for those ball hugger underwear, and I'm good. Good.
All right, so we have one of the oddest matchups coming up. The Fenway Bowl is going to be at Fenway Park. Both teams will be on the same sideline, played in a baseball stadium, obviously. Speaking of baseball, side note, Brandon, did you know the guy that just got $350 million from Minnesota?
Carlos
Signed with the Giants?
No.
Used to play for the Astros. Signed a 3-year deal with Minnesota.
Carlos Pena?
Correa.
Correa. Yeah, I did know that guy.
I think you knew Carlos Pena.
Former Detroit Tiger Carlos Pena. He's
I knew that guy.
Now he works for MLB.
Correa's familiar. It sounds familiar.
I woke up to an alert this morning. Some guy signs 350 or 360 million. I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. Like, I'm not a huge baseball fan, but I at least watch Sports Center.
He's a good player. He's not 13 years, 350 million.
He's gonna be 41 at the end of that contract.
These contracts are astronomically ridiculous. We talked about this last week with the whole Aaron Judge thing too. So I mean, stupid.
So back to football being played in a baseball park. This is where it starts getting a little interesting. We got Cincinnati and Louisville. So Louisville obviously has a new coach coming in.
So does Cincinnati.
Cincinnati has a new coach coming in. So this is a bowl of, I guess, what are the players? What's their mindset? Brandon, what do you think?
Question to you guys, if you know, and this could hinder on my decision. Is Fickle staying at Cincinnati during the bowl?
I think he's already gone. I think
neither of them
coaches are leaving.
So there's interim coaches present for the bowl game. I'm going to take Cincinnati. I know they're the underdog here by 1.5.
No, Cincinnati's the favorite.
No, they're not.
No, Louisville's the favorite.
Louisville's favored by 2.
Yeah, 1.5. I had it 1.5.
Looking at
ESPN.
I look at Score Mobile.
College Bowl Mania?
No, I look at Score
the daily
Mobile
lines.
as like a collective.
All right, so it's pretty much a pick 'em.
It's a pick 'em. So I would take Cincinnati in this. I mean, I think what Fickle's done there and built the program. I think the kids bought into the culture. I think the coaches will carry that culture on. Louisville's been kind of a toss-up a little bit this year, so I like Cincinnati here.
Tom?
Yeah, I would agree with that. They've kind of been on a roller coaster season. Obviously, they've got a really good coach coming in next year, the Purdue coach. But this year, I think Cincinnati has that experience. They're defensively, they're a little bit better. I think they're a little more consistent with the quarterback. Sorry for my pause there. I was thinking of the right word. So give me the Bearcats there. I think they interesting sponsor of the Fenway Bowl, Wasabi. Wouldn't pen that to be a Boston thing, but hey, they did throw tea in the harbor.
There you go. I like Cincinnati too, mainly because they've won 9 games. Louisville's won 7. You get used to winning and you expect to win, and you just bring that mentality.
Culture.
So next on our sheet, which is next on my list,
SMU.
So in a lovely city of Albuquerque. I don't know if y'all have ever been there, but it is very lovely. I love the southwest part of the country. We have SMU and BYU. Similar, very close line. Tom, what are you thinking?
Well, I go back to earlier in the season when BYU beat Utah. They really brought their A game defensively. So I do see a lot of the same. SMU's got a good offense, but these 3.5 Mustangs are favored. Give me the Fighting Mormons of BYU.
Jane?
I like SMU. No rhyme or reason. I don't know. I just like SMU here.
Um,
SMU over BYU. I don't know.
They were good in the 80s. They were a powerhouse.
They were. Didn't they get the
lifetime ban?
They got like death penalty for a while.
Yeah.
That's why I'm going for them. I knew there was something there.
I'm going for I'm picking BYU mainly because they're an older team by just their requirements to play there. I think a lot of them think this is the last time they may get to play football, where maybe some SMU players are looking at the transfer portal. They're probably going to be distracted. Reckless speculation. So give me BYU.
I like it.
The next game we have is
Jimmy Kimmel Bowl.
Is it just called the LA Bowl?
It's the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl.
In Inglewood, California. Fresno State versus Washington State, which I'm trying to find on my screen. Tom, what are you thinking?
I like Washington State here. I think they had a really good season. I think it was overshadowed by the fact that USC did what they did, UCLA did what they did, and Washington did really well, and Oregon. So I think the fact that the Pac-12 was actually really strong this year, I think it really hid the fact that Washington State played those teams really tough. And they're going up against Fresno State. They're getting 3.5 points. I just like that Pac-12 team over the what is it, the MWAC, the Mountain West Athletic Conference.
West,
yeah. Give me the Cougars. Put the Cougar in the jar.
Brandon, what are you thinking?
I agree with you, Tom. I think Washington State is kind of undersold on this game a little bit. I thought they would be favored when I saw this matchup come out, but they're not. So I definitely like the points, and I like the money line on Washington State as well.
Give me a hungry Fresno State team, proving they can play with the big boys. I think they're going to come out and show they're more impressed to be here. The wild card, though, and we're going to get to this later, is does Washington State have this go from Mike Leach kind of mentality? That I'm going to actually be interested to see how they play, if it's a factor at all, versus and look forward to what Mississippi State's going to play with.
Good point.
Well, hey, Raj, good for you to be on time at 9:20.
Yeah, dude, it was actually a personal best for me. I'm not an ER doctor, so I don't have an excuse, and I suck. But we're talking about Washington State real quick.
Yeah.
Just the Washington State bowl game.
Yeah, we're going down the line. Yeah, Washington State, Fresno State.
Okay. Quickly on Washington State, they've probably been hit harder by deflections than any other team in the bowl in terms of impact players, starting with Deion Henley, the all first-team middle linebacker, who is all over the field. They're without their second, and their fourth best receiver, and both middle linebackers opted out for the portal. So keep that in mind when you're picking this game. Yeah. So not looking good for Wazoo. Just too much out. But yeah, I mean, they could have the inspirational thing going on, but I doubt it.
And that, kids, is what you call analysis. What has been lacking.
That is why you don't suck, Raj. Right there.
Yeah. Yes.
Exactly. That's why I was late. I was researching just that game, so don't ask me any other questions.
There it is, right there.
Well, now we're asking you to go back to back because we have the Lending Tree Bowl and we have Rice versus Southern Miss. And so,
I can actually. You want me to go?
Oh yeah.
I can actually do this one because I watch Rice, and they're actually a decent high-scoring team when they're healthy. They're without their quarterback, TJ McMahon, who's been hurt since middle of November. I think the backup's not playing. And then their best overall player, who everyone's got to remember, Easy Ed on the Broncos, and his older brother is a guy named Christian on the 49ers. Luke McCaffrey, receiver, do everything for them, is hurt as well. So that's like half the Rice production. They kind of run a variation of a triple option, but with those guys, I would have taken them. But without a Southern Miss that doesn't have any considerable injuries or opt-outs, there's not much talent, but I think they're going to beat a 5-7 Rice team who needed that permission to get in anyway. But they got in based on it being a decent team when healthy.
All right, Brandon. I'm sure you knew all that about the roster.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you don't need to repeat that. So.
Raj, his analysis is a breath of fresh air. I was picking Troy because I loved Brad Pitt in the movie Troy. So back to some of the teams that are, we don't really watch that much, but Raj is kind of that guy when it comes to analytics on especially teams that we just don't watch, and even more so on teams we do watch. So pretty impressive. But yeah, after hearing that analysis, I mean, how can you not go?
We might as well pack it up and go home.
Yeah, sorry, Rice. Sorry, Mr. McCaffrey Jr. You're done.
Yeah, Tom, what do you got? What do you got on this one?
Well, for the simple fact that they might have the cheesiest logo in all of college football, give me the Golden Eagles of Southern Miss. That sounds like a old country buffet or something. Just such a cheese ballish looking logo that a seventh grader in art class made, and they thought, hey, let's go for it. It's cheap. So I like them. Give me the Golden Eagles.
Yeah, we'll make it unanimous. I was all on Rice till McCaffrey got hurt, and so now, yeah, I'm all
breaking news: McCaffrey is injured
on Southern Miss.
I think the backup's out to Wiley Green also, so they're going with their third string.
Of course, that Green guy, he's a bum.
Yeah, dude, he was out most of the year. He came back in like week 9 or 10, and now he's hurt again. So.
How
That's
in
the
the world
breaking news right there.
Who plays on Rice?
SC played them, but beginning of the year, you kind of keep track. But I don't know. I've hated every McCaffrey
week non-conference.
Exactly. Well, that and they got smoked by Utah. But I've hated every McCaffrey on every level. So this guy just sets off it just makes me itch. So I kind of want to know where the mosquito is.
All right, so now we're getting a little interesting. So we have the Las Vegas Bowl. I hope it's played in the spaceship or the Death Star, not at UNLV. So we're looking at Florida 6-6 versus Oregon State at 9-3. This has got SEC bias all plugged into it. So, I'll go ahead and talk since I'm the SEC guy. I'll go first. I don't think Florida's particularly good this year. I do think Billy Napier's a good coach, but I'm not sure this team is buying into what he's doing now. This is the ultimate arrogance of the SEC saying, oh, we're playing a perceived weak Pac-12 team. We're going to roll. Give me Oregon State in this one all day. Tom, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I guess kind of like how I talked about Washington State. They were kind of the offshoot. Oregon State was the same way. They played a really good football, and they were a bit overshadowed by the rest of the team's success in that Pac-12. So, in Florida just absolutely fell apart after that. I think it was the Kentucky game it was the Kentucky game. They just didn't seem to put it together. Richardson didn't really improve much after that earlier success. But I like the Beavers here. I think they'll go into the dome there and take care of SEC, which, statistically the SEC does not do very well in bowl games. Just putting that out there. But
and Richardson's out before we go to Chain, as is their best offensive lineman, Cyrus O'Torrance. They're both going to the NFL. So
yeah. I saw Richardson out. He's been the talk of like the most favorite quarterback by the analysts, which I don't see.
So is Malik Willis.
Yeah. So anyway, give me the Beavers all day. If not for my boy Wayne Tinkle, who coaches their basketball team. But
be careful when you mix Tinkle and Beavers. Just saying.
Hey,
they should go hand in hand. Right?
They do. So
no unintended. Sorry.
No, Florida's been kind of trash all year, in my opinion. They've been on the decline since their original AP ranking or whatever preseason, and they've just done nothing but go downhill. And Richardson showed highlights. Obviously, he's not playing this game, so even if he was, I'd still take the Beavers. But yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. But yeah, Oregon State.
The Beavers are without their best overall player, cornerback Rajon Wright, who's hurt. He's an NFL guy, but I actually cannot remember the name of the other dude opposite him. He's an NFL guy, just big DBs. Most importantly, the Pac-12 Freshman of the Year, Damian Martinez, a running back. He's on schedule to play. But overall, the losses on Florida, I think, are too great, including Ventrell Miller, their starting middle linebacker, who, like, direct correlation between when that guy plays and how their defense performed and when he doesn't. So just a lot out, and then we don't need to go talk too much about the backup quarterback for Richardson, who is facing 25 to life. So, yeah, I got to go Oregon State on this one. And also it comes down to me for coaching. And Napier seems okay, but Jonathan Smith is a hell of a coach. And I'll take the Beavers.
Yeah, that's John
Keaton's
key, right?
Oregon State to get to 9-3, that's impressive. Next we go to Frisco, Texas. We've got Boise State 9-4, North Texas 7-6. The spread on this is closer than you would think, or at least what I would have thought. Raj, what are you getting?
Well, I'm not sure on this game because the North Texas quarterback, I think it was a transfer, Austin Aune, A-U-N-E, has said he's going to declare, but he's going to play. Heck of a thrower, like 3,300 yards, 30-plus TDs. Boise State lost to Fresno State in the Mountain West Conference Championship game. Their quarterback, Bachmeier, he's in the portal, but I'm pretty sure he was replaced, and the backup did pretty damn fine. I can't remember. In the end, just better players and athletes, I think. North Texas fired their coach, even though they made it to the Conference USA Championship game. So maybe they can get some interim magic. Overall, I'll take Boise State. I see it around, what's it down to? Yeah, 10.5. It was at 7. So it's gone up. Maybe that's the public, maybe not. But straight up, give me Boise State.
All right. Tom, what do you got?
I have no analysis of this game other than Boise State plays on the blue rug. So give me the blue rug of Boise State.
All right.
Hard to watch those games, by the way. Eastern Michigan has a gray rug, which is even worse.
Yeah, that's tough to watch. I can't watch those games when they're at home. I totally agree. I'll take Boise State here. Zero analysis. Half the stuff Raj forgets is more than anything I know. So 0.
I'll take Boise too, but I will say this is what we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games in the first 2 days of bowl season. So while I'm not a huge bowl fan, it is something on TV, so I am getting kind of excited about it.
So this Friday and Saturday, hammer in the books hard.
Yeah.
All
right, so we've got Marshall at 8-4, UConn 6-6, and Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Raj, you have any insight about who's playing, who's not playing?
I can just tell you that Marshall can run the football. Their running back, Kalan Laybourne, a dude had like 1,300 yards plus and 16 TDs, like 130 against Notre Dame, who was pretty good against the run all year, big dudes. UConn 6-6, hell of a job by Jim Mora Jr., but they just don't have the horses, dude. Marshall is way bigger up front, so give me Marshall all day.
All right, Shane, what do you think?
I've got Marshall here too. No reason why. I think I just like the movie about Marshall, and again,
Forgetting
my
Sarah
knowledge.
Marshall?
That one too. Also,
You mean the one about the plane crash?
No, the one didn't have like.
That was it. We Are Marshall with
Yeah.
Matthew McConaughey.
Matthew McConaughey.
All right.
All right. Yeah. So I've got movie references on teams I just don't watch, so I apologize. Hey, but it is concurring with people that know what they're talking about, so I'm on the right track here.
All right, Tom.
Through that.
Yeah, like Raj said, Jim Mora Jr. did a fantastic job. It seemed like after Michigan kind of knocked him down, he was able to get that team going really well, and he might have even got himself a job at a better program. We'll see. But yeah, Marshall's got too much. Well, what they did earlier in the season going into Notre Dame, and you see what
That's
Notre
what I
Dame,
was about to say.
You see what Notre Dame ended up, doing with the remainder of the season. They ended up getting into the top 15. So that win was huge, and that was no fluke. They went in there and they controlled and dominated the Fighting Irish. So this case, I see the same thing happening. Good story for UConn, the Fighting Dan Orlovskis, but yeah, give me Marshall to pull this one off. Randy Moss, straight cash.
I agree. Marshall's got the best win of the year. I agree with what you guys said about Jim Moore Jr. Great job resurrecting that UConn program, but Marshall's got too much for them. For the sake of timing, boys, let's go just quickly. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl, San Jose or Eastern Michigan. Who you got?
San Jose.
I'll do the same just because of scoring, even though this scares me. It's kind of a big, ugly MAC team versus a thin West Coast team. But a lot of offense on San Jose State, a lot of skill and more speed.
Well, Ypsilanti's about 20 minutes from my house, between here and Ann Arbor. Give me the Eagles of Eastern Michigan, the Fighting Max Crosbys. Let's go.
All right. I'll take San Jose. So the Boca Raton Bowl or Boca Raton, whatever it is, we have Liberty losing a coach now, 8-4 against Toledo, a pretty tough Ohio team. Who do you like in that? We'll start with the Ohio guy, Brandon.
I like Liberty here, personally. I think they got a good win over, was it Arkansas earlier in the year? And they've played pretty good football. I haven't watched the game, but I've seen some highlights here and there, and I've read a few things about them. Toledo is a great team as well, but I'm taking Liberty just because of that Arkansas win.
Any concern that Hugh Freeze is gone now? And I don't think he's coaching in the bowl game.
No, again, the culture is already established at that point. You can take an interim coach, and I'm sure he's still somewhat consulting with them. He's not going to leave his guys high and dry.
All right, Raj, what do you think?
I'm going the other way. I'll take a pretty decent MAC team. Toledo lost 3 in a row. They lost their horribly corrupt coach. I just think Toledo is actually a pretty decent squad. And they play some pretty good defense. Quarterback came back in an ugly win over Ohio, who's a pretty damn good team. So I will take Toledo.
All right, Tom, what do you
Yep.
think?
I agree. Coming off a huge win in the MAC championship game down at the Billy Bowl in Detroit, and Maction, gotta love it. Go Toledo, the Rockets.
I like Toledo as well. I think the losing of a coach in the transfer portal era is going to have more of an effect than previous years because now players are looking who's going to come in. Am I fit for them? Am I leaving? So I like Toledo also. Sure. The next, one of the finest American cities, the New Orleans Bowl. We have Western Kentucky at 8-5 and South Alabama at 10-2. Now the spread on this is South Alabama -4.5. It looks like.
No, it's gone up. I think it should because Western Kentucky's quarterback Reed, kid threw for like 4,300 yards and almost 40 TDs. He entered the portal, so that's a huge loss. South Alabama's 10-2. UCLA needed a field goal at the buzzer to beat them at the Rose Bowl. Kind of a different UCLA team. They're a pretty damn good team without significant injuries. I'll take South Alabama. USA, dude. If you don't like USA, then you're a damn commie.
That's right. Brandon?
I agree. I've got South Alabama here. Western Kentucky. I didn't know their dude or whatever entered the transfer portal. I had South Alabama before that, but that makes me even more confident in my pick now.
All right, Tom?
Hey, you're on mute, buddy.
Sorry, guys. Trying to limit the coughing on the microphone. South Alabama coming off a 5-game win streak. And they played, like you said, UCLA really tough, 32-21. They beat the Chips of Central Michigan. Give me the Jaguars of South Alabama.
I'll make it unanimous. I like them too. So now we go to the Armed Forces Bowl, and then we've got that in Fort Worth, Texas, and we have Baylor, which has kind of been all over the place this year, against the triple option Air Force. I love the triple option. I'm not sure which way I'm leaning yet. Shane, what do you think?
Man, this is just one of those teams you never want to see on a schedule. You just don't prepare for it in this day and age. When you see a triple option, it's hard to get people to commit to their reads and on the defensive side and actually follow through. So I am not going to be surprised if Air Force wins this one. It's really hard for me to pick against Baylor, but I'm going to. I'm going to take Air Force.
All right, Raj.
Same. Baylor just fired their defensive coordinator and special teams coordinator. Air Force has 3 dudes that total about $3,000 on the ground, including a running back, another Great White Hope, Brad Roberts, I think is his name, like another 1,600 yards and 15 TDs or something. And their defense has actually played really well. They've won 4 in a row. Give me the Air Force Falcons. And if you don't root for USA, then you're goddamn commie again. So
Love it. Love it.
All right, Tom, what are you thinking?
Well, I might mention the fact that Raj is a friggin' encyclopedia over here. He just pulled the Great White Hype out of thin air. Yes, you're right. It stole my thunder. I had it all queued up.
sorry.
1,600 yards. Yep. And you're right, Robbie. Not many teams play that. So how do you prepare for it? And when you think you've figured it out, they're going to throw the ball. So that's tough to defend for sure. And Baylor's been all over the map. You think they're turning a corner, and then they get beat by TCU. So give me the Falcons, Air Force.
Yep. I'll agree with y'all. If this game was played a week later and Baylor had maybe 2.5 weeks to prepare for the triple option, I may shift to Baylor, but they're going through exams. There's just some downtime. It's too short a window to play for a triple option team that no one on your schedule played it, and so I don't like this matchup at all for Baylor. So I'll take Air Force. All right, down to glorious Shreveport, Louisiana. We've got Houston 7-5, and I believe the Raging Cajuns at 6-6. So classic little close knit kind of brawl here. Raj, what are you thinking?
I'm just gonna go with Houston. Still Louisiana lost Napier. We all know that. Houston's got a pretty good quarterback, Clayton Tune, who's still there, threw for a lot of yards. So I just think their offense is going to be too much, but I have really no idea.
Do you have like an earpiece with like some research team in behind you telling you who plays for these teams?
He's got
I did actually do some research, but it takes me time because if I write something down, I will never forget it. But I'm too lazy to write most stuff down. So I did write some things down because this is a bowl preview show.
You should write down our start time.
Touche.
All right, Tom,
Eastern.
Tom, what do you got?
I'm pretty sure he's never forgotten it.
Wait, we're Eastern?
Today was his best showing.
I thought we're Central Time in Tennessee.
Tom,
I'm Central Time.
Even though Louisiana has by far the best moniker in all of college athletics, the Raging Cajuns. Yes, Houston's got too much. Give me another Cougars. Going to put another Cougar in the car. Give me the Cougars.
All right, Brandon.
Yeah, I agree. Houston over Louisiana. It's I have no explanation why. I think it's because they were minus 6.5, so I'll take that.
Oh, you guys are all wrong. Give me the home team. It's in their backyard. I'll take Louisiana Raging Cajuns.
That's just because it's your favorite place.
Now next we go to Tampa. We have ACC and SEC mediocrity. We have Wake Forest at 7-5 and Missouri at 6-6. Now we're getting into, well, not now, but this is the first time I've noticed it. We're getting into the Christmas window. So this is December 23rd. And this is going to be in Tampa. So, Tom, you haven't started with you in a while. Who do you like and why?
Well, I'm going to go Missouri here. If they can put together the game that they played against Georgia, that pretty much they controlled for about 80-85% of that game. But Wake Forest is definitely a wild card. These are two teams that they're pain in the necks to play, and Missouri, give me the Tigers.
All right, Raj.
Yeah, same. Wake Forest has Sam Hartman, but lost 3 out of the 4 down the stretch. I think Missouri, I was tempted because of what Tennessee did to that pass defense, but Tennessee was a special offense with those receivers. This is a team that shut down South Carolina earlier in the year. We all know about the close loss to Georgia. They just beat Arkansas. So I'm going to go with an overall SEC roster versus an ACC roster.
Shane?
Yeah, I agree with Tom here. I was taking Missouri just because how they played against Georgia and, being the number 1 team in the country. I think, they're trying to prove something here, showing that they can, win a bowl game and continue down that path in the SEC. So I like Missouri over Wake Forest for sure.
Hey, one thing real quick. Missouri was without 3 of their top defenders who declared for the NFL draft. I noted it, but I didn't fully write it down. So I don't know how that changes.
Still like Missouri.
3 big parts. I mean, they're going to go pro.
Give me Wake Forest in this one. I like Dave Clawson as a play caller and as a coach. The only place he didn't have success as a head coach was at Tennessee, and that was during the height of the dysfunction in Knoxville. He's won everywhere else. I think he's doing a good job at Wake Forest, which is not an easy place to win. Give me Wake over a mediocre Missouri team. Next, we go to Honolulu. We have two teams that I've both been close to, and Raj to one, San Diego State and MTSU. Right, this is both ranked 7 and 5. Let's see who's favored in this one. The Aztecs
San
are
Diego
favored by
State.
6.5 or 7. It looks like 7.
7.
Yeah. Shane, what do you think?
Well, I think San Diego State's probably going to win this one. I'm taking MTSU just because local. I did do some college there, so I have to go with my boys for nothing but just rooting for them. But smart money's on San Diego State, in my opinion.
I like it. Tom?
Mute. You're on mute again.
There's going to be more of a San Diego.
Don't worry, you'll get it your second show.
Yeah.
How to
Right. Yeah, there's going to be more of a San Diego presence there. A lot of them kids are probably, local from the islands. Plus, it's not as long of a flight from San Diego from Tennessee. So, give me the Aztecs.
All right, Raj, what do you got?
Dude, I don't really know about this game. I think San Diego State's overrated. Not a lot of signature wins. They beat San Jose State, who's in a bowl game down the stretch. Just lost to Air Force 13-3, I think. So I'm going to take MTSU because they beat Miami. And if you do that, then you can line up. And even though Miami sucks and they don't really have anything to look at on offense, I think if you do that, you know what it's like to play in a bigger game. And I'll take them. I don't know why. It seems like the public's driven up this line. So give me the Blue Raiders.
Nice.
All right. To me, this is a finance game. Neither school has the finances to fly out to that time zone and stay for a week. And so I think it's going to be in and out as quick as you can come. San Diego's closer to that time zone than Central Time. So I'm going players' bodies. I'm going SDSU based on time zones.
It's not that bad of a flight, really.
Oh, Mr. First Class, you don't know what it's like being in
I fly
there.
Southwest. I don't fly first class. I got points, baby.
3.5. Oh, you mean to Hawaii from Tennessee?
Yeah, no, it's a 10-hour flight.
Nightmare flight, dude. That's like 7+.
I did it in 2019.
Well,
Yeah.
As a matter of fact,
we got a layover in Oakland, which is the worst airport in the world, by the way. No
On
offense to the
Southwest.
Raiders.
Yeah.
It's awful.
But San Diego State basically lives in like Hawaii mainland. Not quite the same, but Middle Tennessee State, like they're going to be pretty stoked to be there. Flip side is they could be on vacation as soon as the plane lands because it's very different. Murfreesboro, where the hell is it?
Yeah, Murfreesboro.
Yeah, change.
I was going to say that's a, if your team's going there to play and you're a big fan, that's a vacation you kind of plan around. And I could see a lot of MTSU fans going and staying for a week there. I could see that too. I think that would be awesome. I mean,
what Brandon's telling us is he's going to be doing the show next week from Hawaii.
Just don't stay in Honolulu.
No, I've never been to Honolulu. I went to Kauai.
Kauai's awesome. Wow. Honolulu's cool too. The Kauai's awesome. Maui's great too.
Once you get out of Honolulu, you're okay.
Look at the pot calling the kettle black over here. He's been more than I have.
I'm an island hopper. What can I say?
Apparently, you just got back from the Bahamas. I mean, we can't control you.
I'm hoping Randall starts paying me for this show so I can afford to go to vacation.
You got so many credit cards right now; it's insane.
So next, we're going up to Tom's neck of the woods, the Quick Lane Bowl in Detroit. You got Bowling Green and New Mexico State, both 6-6, and looks like Bowling Green opened at 3, moved to 3.5. So, Tom, tell us about what this bowl looks like and who do you got?
Well, it's going to look pretty empty. I'm estimating about 12 to 13,000 in attendance. This is
Family
what we
members.
This is probably. This is what we like to call the hot and ready bowl because it was the Little Caesars bowl at one point. Then tire changes and oil changes took over. So I'm going to go with my local MAC, not too far from here, the Fighting Falcons, Bowling Green, just down I-75, about 20 minutes south of Toledo.
All right, Raj, tell us who's not playing in this one.
This is a kind of like, this is an ugly game. I mean, both teams have played some decent name schools, and both have been absolutely smoked. Bowling Green by like 2 or 3 schools, Mexico State. Now, one thing about New Mexico State is they ended up with one of the most puzzling results late in the year. I think Hugh Freeze had not even left yet. Actually, I'm pretty sure. And they beat Liberty 49-14. And that was a 5-6 New Mexico State team. I think it was at Liberty. The quarterback that came in, his name's Diego Pavia. Not much to write home about, but the kid had 4 TDs in the air against Liberty, 1 on the ground, I think. They beat Valparaiso, a good old Indiana school, last game of the year, and he had another like 3 or 4 or 5 TDs.
65-3.
I mean, even though I usually go with the bigger team, the Maction team, bigger on offense and defense, actually, I'm going to go with the bigger team. Despite all that, what I just said, it comes down to the trenches in these games, and Bowling Green's just got some big, ugly dudes, whereas New Mexico State is going to be quicker, but definitely smaller.
Updated through game time, you can get into the Quick Lane Bowl for $1.
Shane, what are you thinking?
They pay you, right?
Right. Free popcorn.
No rhyme or reason. I took Bowling Green, but no clue why. Just haven't watched either team. So.
I assume the gambling companies are not permitted to sponsor a bowl because this bowl game should be one of the gambling sites because this is the only game after Christmas and everyone is going to want to go have some excuse to watch it. So let's throw money on it. And like, I'll just pick a team and hey, oh, honey, I've got to watch. I got money on it. So this game should be the gambling bowl game. I have no rhyme or reason either. Bowling Green's closer to Detroit. I'll take geography for 100, Alex. All right, next on our list, we're getting to Montgomery. So we got Georgia Southern 6-6 versus Buffalo 6-6. Anyone want to just shoot off who you like?
I'll take Georgia Southern because they can score, although Clay Helton is their coach. So that's a big – I mean, I'm really going against everything I believe in because he is the devil. But he's a super nice guy, and he loves those kids. But, Buffalo's not an awesome team. I'll take Georgia Southern. Just better offense, kids can score, and it's in the South. So they're got to be pretty good at football, right?
Tom?
Yeah, give me Georgia Southern.
Yeah. Brandon?
Yeah, Georgia Southern.
Georgia Southern's closer to Montgomery. Give me Georgia Southern.
They'll be playing in the XFL next.
Serve Pro First Responders Bowl. Hey, I'm suing Serve Pro at the moment.
Are you really?
Look out. Oh, yeah. Is that breaking news?
We should talk about this later off air.
Yes. So we've got.
I might be able to help your case.
So are you able to make the pick since you're you have litigation against them?
Can't anybody like franchise a Serve Pro, like whatever? Like they're pretty awful.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. That's why I'm suing them. But we have so Tennessee team, we have Memphis and Utah State playing in Dallas. Spread on this. Memphis, pretty heavy favorite, -7. Brandon, what do you think?
Give me Memphis all day. They've got a good culture there. It's been there for a while. They're a good team. Home team for me, like Memphis. Especially Vegas likes Memphis, so I like them on the money line for sure.
All right, Raj, what do you think?
Memphis, actually, real quick, permit me. 4 losses down the stretch to teams that are all in bowl games. Houston by 1, East Carolina by 2, Tulane by 10, and Central Florida by 7. Then end the season with a close loss to SMU. This team's in every game. They're smarting. Utah State's pretty down this year. Obviously, Memphis can score, and they can play in big games. So, big games. But I will take Memphis. Battle tested.
All right, Tom.
Me too. I'll take Memphis here. They have a better record against the spread, 7. So I think they're a little more faster, built a little bit better.
I like Memphis too. Closer to Dallas, probably.
Love the geography picks.
All right, so now we got Birmingham Bowl. We got this is gonna be tough. This is gonna be. I may have to get out Google Maps. We got East Carolina versus Coastal Carolina.
Which one's which?
Yeah, one might be more eastern than the other.
Carolina's on the coast. They're both on the coast. Like, how far east? What do we have?
Like, which one sticks out further?
Yeah.
Really, the only thing that really matters before you guys go is the best player in this game by far, Grayson McCall, the Coastal quarterback, has entered the portal. So is their starting linebacker. Now, they have a pretty good system there. They can put up points. I actually don't know who the backup is, but, yeah, like he was their offense. And the linebacker, defensive rush end that's leaving, he's pretty highly rated too, Josiah Stewart. So they're losing a lot. East Carolina is pretty tough, man. They played some tough games. I will definitely take East Carolina. I think the spread jumped like over a touchdown. I don't know where it's at now.
7.5.
So, yeah, I think East Carolina. Also, fun fact, they have a quarterback who's pretty decent, a running back who went over 1,000 yards, and a receiver who went over 1,000 yards. So there you go.
Yeah, gold. Give me East Carolina.
You want to say who the quarterback is off the top of your head?
I know the receiver, Ehlers. I think it was a transfer. Hank Ehlers. Another thing, though, they're named the Pirates, and the Pirate just passed away. Rest in peace.
Yes.
So I got to go with that, too, in spirit. I don't know his first name. Winstead is the receiver. I can't remember the running back's name, but I remember reading they had a triple, like one of the few teams with 1,000-yard back, 1,000-yard receiver, and a pretty decent quarterback. I can't remember what he did, but pretty good.
Keaton Mitchell, the running back, and Isaiah Winstead, the receiver.
What's the quarterback's first name?
Holton.
Was he a transfer from somewhere?
No clue.
I thought he was. But anyways, East Carolina.
Right, who do you want out of this one?
East Carolina.
All right, so it's unanimous. All right, so now going to the guaranteed rate Phoenix, Arizona Bowl. We've got Wisconsin, who's got a new coach coming in, and Oklahoma State, who has got a quarterback going out. So this is going to put Mike Gundy to the test versus a Wisconsin motivated team with a new coach to prove something. We've been in 58 minutes. I finally know something I'm talking about. I'm pretty excited about that.
Go for it.
Tom, what do you got?
Yeah, Oklahoma State's been a complete disappointment since about halfway point through the season. They've got blown out really bad. Wisconsin kind of recovered a little bit. They had a few hiccups early on, got back on their feet. I think Luke Fickell coming in, I think that's going to kind of give these guys some new resurgence. So give me the Badgers, Wisconsin.
Raj?
I don't know, because the Badgers quarterback's in the portal. I don't know. Did Braylon Allen, the running back, is he in the portal?
No, he's staying. He was gonna come to Michigan. The rumor was he was coming to Michigan if Leonard left, but then they got Fickell and he decided to stay.
Well, I know that the backup to Sanders is Mike Gundy's kid, and he's not good. Gunner, something Gunner. I don't trust dudes named Gunner, so I'm going to go with Wisconsin, even though this is going to be an ugly game.
Brandon, what do you got?
Yeah, I agree. I don't even know what the over/under is, but I'm leaning towards the under on this game for sure.
43.
Yeah, definitely take the under. But I think Wisconsin might get a little bit of hype, a little bit of kind of play in game, like what they can show their coach coming in. So kind of somewhat of a battle tryout, if you will, for the season to come, and whether or not they need to enter the transfer portal. So I think this is going to be Wisconsin. They're favored by 3. Yeah, I like Wisconsin here.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I'm not sure what to expect. I think having the head coach in place, I think it's going to help a little bit. I'm going to take Oklahoma State, but this is one of those, and we're not getting any confidence. This is one of my, bottom 7 confidence kind of games. All right, moving on to the Military Bowl, we've got Duke and at 8-4, and UCF at 9-4. So Gus Malzahn's Fighting Knights versus the Blue Devils. Rob,
I got something on this. I got something on this game that's interesting, kind of. This is one of the few games where the starting quarterback is also the leading rusher, and each are over 500 yards, I believe. But UCF's starting quarterback is John Reese Plumlee, the kid that was at Ole Miss for 3 or 4 years. He is hurt. I don't think he's going to play. He may have even entered the portal. Their backup's not playing, and the third string's not very good from what I remember, whereas Duke has played some pretty damn good games. They only lost 1 down the stretch. Their quarterback, Riley Leonard, is a hell of a player. 20-plus TDs, like 5 picks, 6 picks. He can run. Offense has never been a problem there. Is Cutcliffe still the coach? No. Yes? But it's probably still his system. I mean, their best player last year that played with Leonard was Jake Bobo, a receiver who went to UCLA and tore it up. I don't see UCF being able to hang with a pretty solid 8-4 Duke Blue Devil team.
All right, Brandon, what do you think?
Initially I thought just because it's UCF, Florida team, I'm leaning that way. I have no analytics quite like Raj. I'd have watched Duke play a couple times this year, and I think they're a pretty comparable team, or I don't know. I'm taking Duke in this one. They're favored by Vegas, kind of a pick 'em. It's 2.5 right now, so it's almost a pick 'em. Even though they have the lesser record by 1 game, I still like Duke here. Zero analytics on it.
Tom?
Yeah, Duke down the stretch. They won 4 of their last 5. Lost a close one against North Carolina. We know how tough North Carolina was. And hearing Raj's retrospect of the Knights situation at quarterback, give me the Blue Devils, the Fighting Krzyzewskis here. Wrong sport, though.
Nice.
On this one's tough for me. And I think these next round of games are going to get tougher because I've seen Gus Malzahn run over teams in bowl games. I've seen him get blown out in bowl games. I'm going to say Duke's the favorite. As far as a pick 'em, I'm going to go Duke, but it's almost a toss-up.
It is.
All right, so now we get to the Liberty Bowl. great bowl game to go to if you guys have never been there. Casinos all around. We have Kansas at 6-6 and Arkansas at 6-6. This is Kansas's chance to make their season memorable, even more memorable, versus Arkansas's chance to make their season regrettable. So I think this is a very unique matchup. Raj, what are you thinking on this one?
Kansas lost 6 of 7 down the stretch after Jaden Daniels, who some thought was the Heisman frontrunner when he got hurt in that game against TCU. I think it was TCU, went out. And Arkansas, Malik Jefferson is going to play. They lost Drew Sanders and Bumper Pool. Pretty sweet name for a linebacker. But you just got to go overall SEC Hogs in this one. So I will take Arkansas SEC Hogs, pun intended.
Sweet. Yeah. This is, Kansas was a good story early on, starting 5-0 and really fired up that fan base that really wasn't there prior to this year. And it was too bad when they lost their starter and they kind of took a drop from there. And same goes with Arkansas. I think they got close to the top 10 earlier in the season and they fell off. But yeah, I think the Pigs have too much, size, and their head coach is going to be looking for an old fashioned or a good old cold beer after the game. So give me the Razorbacks here.
All right, Brandon, what do you think between we got Arkansas and Kansas and the Liberty Bowl in Memphis?
The irony there is funny because Liberty beat Arkansas. So just on that note, I'm taking Kansas.
I like it. Honestly, I was prepared to take Kansas, and you guys talked me out of it. I guess I agree with you guys. SEC recruiting is still going to be Kansas recruiting, not necessarily Big 12 recruiting, but it's going to be Kansas recruiting, and eventually just the players play the game. I think Kansas is coached a little better, but not a whole lot better. But Arkansas has better talent. The Holiday Bowl, which I guess is played in a new stadium because I think Qualcomm is gone. We have Oregon, so the Pac-12 team on the West Coast versus the East Coast team being North Carolina. Let's see. The spread is Oregon minus 13.5. Okay. Or 14 if you know what casino you get at. So big spread. Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, it's Oregon for me all day here. North Carolina, they've had some good games this year. I can't really elaborate on. I've seen highlights, but haven't watched the game. But Oregon was very competitive in a pretty solid conference this year. So I like Oregon.
All right, Raj, you're the Pac-12 guy. Give us your Oregon insight versus the ACC and North Carolina.
Bottom line is, Bo Nix is playing. North Carolina's already awful defense. Their best part of their defense was their secondary, and 3 guys are transferring out, including a very highly rated cornerback, Tony Grimes, and then the opposite cornerback was a guy named Storm Duck, and the safety Cameron Kelly or something.
That's an awesome name. Storm
It's
Duck.
A sweet name.
Storm Duck.
Playing Oregon, right? Am I right? And the guy decided not to play in the game, and he probably had more motivation than any of them. So, that's why the spread is so big. Oregon is without their best DB, Christian Gonzalez, declared for the draft. He'll be a really high pick, but a crappy secondary, a crappy defense. 3 of the 4 starters gone. Bo Nix, Oregon all day.
Tom?
Yeah, Drake May was a good story. Freshman quarterback, over 4,000 yards passing. No doubt he's going to be in the conversation early on for Heisman for next year. But, yeah, I mean, going out to the West Coast, there's going to be a lot of ducks in the stands. And maybe Storm Duck isn't playing because he's going to transfer to Oregon. Who knows? wouldn't it be natural fit for someone with the last name of Duck to be a Duck? I'm just putting it out there.
And they need DBs.
Yeah,
So that's interesting.
Bo Nix, who I'm not a big fan of, and who Auburn probably isn't either. But there's just too much. Give me the Ducks.
Yeah. I agree. Ducks on the West Coast. I doubt it's basketball season for Carolina, even though they're kind of pooping the bed. But football season's over for them. A lot of Ducks fans there. Ducks roll, in my opinion. All right. So next, Houston, Texas, for Texas Tech versus Ole Miss. Obviously, and we're gonna get into this a little bit later. A lot of for Texas Tech for one reason, and for Ole Miss a different reason, just because those players were recruited by Leach. Like, there's a lot of just Mike Leach kind of overtone in this game. So probably going to be, somewhat emotional. I'm sure there'll be a moment of silence and those kind of things. But who do you guys like and why? Tom, we'll start with you.
Yeah, emotions are going to be very high. Obviously, Ole Miss, was his latest coaching stint, coached at Texas Tech. So I think these players are going to be really rallying around that that really awful loss of him. They're favored 3.5 right now. The over under 69.5. I like Ole Miss here. I think they're really going to show up and play for their coach.
I know Leach was at Mississippi State, but Ole Miss, the guys recruited him.
Oh, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I missed that.
Leach was at Texas Tech.
Leach was at Texas Tech.
I messed up on that one. I apologize. Give me Ole Miss. Yeah.
Shane?
Disregard the last 30 seconds of this show.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I think it's the same lines that Tom was thinking. It's just, different thought process there on where he was at. So I like Texas Tech because Leach was there. I think the culture will kind of transcend a little bit there. I think those guys in the school will fight a little harder. Ole Miss, who knows where Lane Kiffin's at right now in his head, if he's leaving, if he's good, where's he going to go, if he wants to stay. I mean, he's been the infamous, kind of tuck tail and run kind of coach, in my opinion. So give me Texas Tech in this one.
Raj, what do you got?
I'm going to go the other way. Ole Miss played pretty crappy down the stretch. Yeah, they got Quinshawn Junkins, the freshman who had like 1,600 yards. But Texas Tech, they won the last 3 games, and that's when Tyler Shough, it's actually Shough, but it's pronounced Shuck. Like, what is that, Irish? I don't remember. He was an Oregon transfer. They've won 3 in a row under him. They're playing great, and I'm going to go with the Mike Leach effect. Ole Miss bigger, stronger, faster, but they're reeling. And I like Tyler Shough and Texas Tech feeling pretty good. And this game is in Houston, which although Louisiana, why can't I think of the name where it is? Ole Miss. What city?
Oxford, Mississippi.
Oxford, yeah.
Which is the capital, correct?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
No? Whatever.
Oxford's not the capital of Mississippi.
For some reason, I thought it was one of those weird ones where I didn't know the city, but
I don't know.
It was like the capital.
Isn't it Jackson, Mississippi?
I know Oxford. I know it's got hot girls, but that's chauvinistic and misogynistic. But whatever. Texas Tech is near Houston, kind of. So, but I'm going them because of the quarterback, and they're playing great down the stretch.
Yeah, Jackson's the capital of Mississippi.
Jackson.
My bad. I don't know why. I
Private school here,
No.
kids. Private school.
I thought the South was one state up until like 5 years ago, dude. So don't ask me.
All right. So
Oxford is where the Egg Bowl is played.
Well, no, the Egg Bowl
Egg Bowl alternates, right?
Yeah,
it does. But
Starkville.
The only one I've ever been to has been in Oxford, so it's the only Egg Bowl I know. It was
babies
great.
Babies are only made in Savannah. I will take. So I think this is the first time in Kiffin's career that he isn't looking for the next job. He passed on Auburn. I think he's focused. I think he wants to prove to Mississippi fans he's there to stay. I like Ole Miss in this one. The next we have Pinstripe Bowl, the only place where the Yankees play. And so we have Syracuse,
Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, we have
well done.
This is better than vegetables. So we have the Pinstripe Bowl, Syracuse versus Minnesota. Syracuse 7-5, Minnesota 8-4. All right, Brandon, what do you got?
Just give me Minnesota. No explanation.
All right, Raj.
Interesting game because Minnesota's quarterback, Tanner Morgan, who has a really good record, something like I read it, but I didn't write it down. I read it. 33 and 13, 14, 15, something like that. He had a concussion. So PJ Fleck hasn't said whether or not he's playing. He's going to be the difference maker. Also, two great backs in this game. Tucker for Syracuse is an all-around guy. Damn good NFL player. And then why am I blanking on the best player in the game? What's his name? Ibrahim?
Ibrahim, yeah.
Yeah, that from Minnesota is just an outstanding back, and I believe he is playing. So I'm going to go with Minnesota. I think the backup for Minnesota is actually not terrible, a Greek last name that I'm not going to pronounce or try to pronounce, mainly because, that dude Ibrahim is awesome. But if he's not playing, then no holds barred. Whatever. But Minnesota.
Yeah, this game
right,
obviously being played in New York, you would think that would be somewhat of a home field advantage. But BJ Fleck.
But it's the only place the Yankees play.
Oh, my God.
PJ Fleck's going to have them ready, and Roger's right. Ibrahim is one of the top 5 running backs in all of college football, and obviously they're looking to end on a high note. Syracuse, a good story again. They played well early on in the season, but Minnesota played pretty decent going down to the end. So give me Minnesota. Row the boat.
Yeah, I agree. I started off wanting to pick Syracuse because Syracuse was ranked high in the year, but it was just they hadn't played anybody. And then they, close loss to Clemson, but Clemson doesn't look that great. And then, the Minnesota played in a much tougher conference, while geography favors Syracuse. But I like row the boat too. I'm going Minnesota. All right, so we have the Cheez-It Bowl, the rematch of, I believe, the 2000 championship game of Florida State and Oklahoma. Florida State 9-3. That's kind of a sneaky 9-3 in my opinion. Versus Oklahoma, who's 6-6, which is very disappointing. So how do you analyze this one, Raj?
Oklahoma. Now, did Dylan Gabriel enter the portal or no?
I think he did.
I don't remember the quarterback who transferred from UCF, but Oklahoma's losing their best 2 offensive linemen. One of the guys is a guy you guys may remember, Wanya Morris, who is opting out for the NFL. He's a Tennessee transfer, right? Speaking of Tennessee transfers, Eric Gray, their outstanding running back, is not playing also, whereas Florida State's Jordan Travis is playing. He's coming back. I'm going to take Florida State in this one. I don't know the spread, but I imagine FSU's favored by like a touchdown.
7.5.
All right. Yeah. Give me FSU.
All right, Tom.
Yeah, Florida State, I think, they, like you said, Roger, a little sneaky. I think the ACC was so down this year. Oklahoma just Brent Vegetables. I don't think he was the right fit for head coach. I think he's a better D coordinator. We'll see what he can do in this offseason. But yeah, Florida State 8-4 against the spread. Give me the chop away.
All right, Shane, are you going with Florida State or your boy Vegetables?
Definitely going Florida State here. They say vegetables are good for you, but not in this case. So I'm going to go with Florida State. Seminoles.
Okay, I think Florida State's better too. I'm going Florida State. All right, the Alamo Bowl. We've got Texas at 8-4 versus a pretty good Washington team at 10-2. Let's go out the Pac-12 network that at least someone's watching now. Raj, what do you got?
Actually, I was about to turn on the Pac-12 network if I can find it. USC basketball plays Long Beach State. Not that I'll probably be the only person on the planet watching, but anyways. Washington's secondary pretty bad. Ewers is damn good. However, Texas losing Bijan Robinson and Roschon Johnson. Now, their running back room is deep, but those guys are phenomenal. They're both going to the NFL. They're also losing what's his name? I wrote it down. DeMarvin Overshawn, their best linebacker. He's going to the NFL. Washington has no significant injuries or transfers except for a running back. Michael Penix is coming back. So even though – and Washington's a higher-ranked team, Texas is favored by, 4.5, 5?
Yeah, 4.5.
I think Kalen DeBoer, the Pac-12 co-coach of the year, is going to have a lot of things up his sleeve, and I'm not a Sark fan ever. So give me Washington in an upset, despite Texas having some – I mean, they passed the eye test, no doubt about it, but the eye test does not win you football games.
All right, Tom?
Yeah, I like Michael Penix coming back next year. I think that's huge for that program. Definitely going to capitalize off a 10-2 season this year. But do we know if Pee Wee Herman's going to be at the Alamo Bowl? Anybody? Does anybody know if he's going to be there? Anyways, I guess you would. It's a long time ago, before your time, guys. Anyways.
You mean Tom Herman or like Paul Rubens, you mean?
Pee Wee Herman at the Alamo. Yeah. Remember the basement?
Oh,
of the Alamo.
That's the best. That's like one of my favorite movies of all time. There's no basement in the
Alamo. Pee Wee's Big
Adobe. Yeah, Pee Wee's Big Adventure is like an all-time movie, dude. Yes, I didn't get it at first. I thought you were talking about Tom Herman, the former coach who may be called Pee Wee now. Yeah. Ending scene at the Alamo, outstanding, just outstanding.
Even though there'll be a big Texas probably showing, I like the veteran leadership of Penix. He's got one of the best arms in college. Huge season, and if they can keep him upright, if he can stay healthy, I like the Huskies. They've had a great year.
All right, Brandon, have I went to you yet?
No, not yet. I concur, guys. Like, at first when I look at this matchup, Quinn Ewers, I've seen him, film study, blah, blah, blah. He went to Ohio State. We know the whole story, rigmarole. Goes back to Texas. Almost lights up Alabama until he gets hurt. I mean, should have won that game. Kid's got talent. I know they're favored 4.5, but they've been kind of sketchy here towards the end of the season on some of these big games. And I don't know if that's, what's going on behind the locker room culture, whatever. But I do. I like the 10-2 Washington right now.
Yeah, so I'm going with Vegas on this one. The records don't match up. Texas to be a favorite. It's in San Antonio, about an hour from Austin. I expect a big, huge Texas crowd. First time in a semi-big bowl game in a while. So give me the horns.
I like that. Vegas knows what they're doing. This is one of those Vegas games for sure.
Yeah.
People just stand.
Yeah, you look at 10-2 versus 8-4, and they're getting points. Yeah, this is one of those trap ones. Next, we have the Duke's Mayo Bowl in North Carolina, Charlotte. Oh, location. NC State versus Maryland. So NC State's 8-4, Maryland 7-5. They used to play in the same conference. They do not anymore. Pretty much a pick'em game in Vegas. Tom, what do you got?
Well, word on the street is Tunga Viola will return next year for Maryland. I was reading a tweet about that earlier, and I think he's the difference here. If he can stay healthy, he's really good. The problem is he takes a lot of heat, a lot of hits. Ohio State knocked him out, like literally. But if he can stay healthy, that's a good team, and he's going to do well. I like Maryland here. I think they're a bigger team. Their defense is a little bit stronger, so I'll go with the Fighting Turtles here.
All right, Brandon, what do you think?
I agree with you, Tom, 100%. As long as Tagovailoa plays, if he's scheduled to play, I agree. He's got a lot of fight in him, just like his older brother too in Miami. You can see that right now. I mean, that there's a lot of relation there, but yeah, I don't see how Maryland loses this one if he's playing.
All right, Raj.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. Although he has played in some games late. Now, they were against tougher defenses. Didn't do well. Penn State, Ohio State, obviously, did get banged up. But NC State is not ever going to be confused with a tough defense. Devin Leary entered the portal. They're starting quarterback. They're a different team without him. They could even be down to like their third or fourth string quarterback. So, and I like their running game. I like that Roman Hembry kid. He's a heck of a back, dude. So I agree. If Tua's healthy, I definitely go that way. Not Tua. Talia? I can't remember.
Tagovailoa, the younger
Talia Tagovailoa. Yeah.
TT, baby. TT.
Yeah. Give me NC State. It's in Charlotte. Proximity. I'll go with the logistics. Next up, Sun Bowl. We have Pittsburgh, who took Tennessee to overtime versus a 9-3 UCLA team, who narrowly missed out on the Pac-12 championship game. Brandon, we'll start with you.
I'm gonna
El Paso.
I'm gonna steal your geography theory. I'm actually gonna go with the Big Ten guys here. UCLA, they're coming to the Big Ten, and they've had a great season this year. Pittsburgh. I did watch that Tennessee game, and I know you guys were worried about that one. That was one of a big, kind of points for your season. I still like UCLA here. I don't know why. I'm sure Raj will break down the analytics for us. I'm just going on eye test of what I've seen, and I like UCLA.
UCLA is favored by 6.5.
That helps.
Tom?
Well, the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl here. little prop action here. They're great. Okay. Zach Charbonnet, Michigan transfer, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who played a hell of a game against UCLA. I think they've got too much offense geographically. I think there's definitely going to be more of a presence, UCLA presence. I don't know how much more because they don't even play fill up their stadium, the Rose Bowl. But yeah, I think there's too much offense for UCLA.
Wait, let me. This is where like the host has to correct someone. UCLA has no fans. Like they don't have any.
But they have a team.
Yeah,
they're good.
And they have a good offense.
If there's 15 Pittsburgh fans there will be more Pittsburgh fans than UCLA fans.
No, I like.
But go ahead.
UCLA. I think Zach Charbonnet's one of the most complete backs in college. So, give me the Bruins.
All right, soon to be ex-Pac-10, new Big Ten guy. What do you think?
You know what scares me about Pitt is Israel Abanikanda. Their running back is phenomenal. Had a 300-yard plus game, 20 TDs on the year. UCLA never going to be confused with a tough defense that stops the run. Being said, I think too much firepower. Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR. I think he's been there 11 years. He's not going to project well at the next level. This could be his last game, probably the last game he ever starts in his career. And I think UCLA wants to go out with a bang, and you give Chip a month to prepare for anyone. I like their chances, and Keaton Slovis, not an awesome quarterback, entered the portal, so I don't really know the effect that has on Pitt, but he took a lot of snaps there, and he's tough. If you saw that Tennessee game, I thought Tennessee murdered him like he was a cat. He literally had 7 lives gone and 2 more hits, and he was dead forever. So give me UCLA, DTR, Charbonnet.
This is a classic who wants to be there game. It's December 30th. There is not a UCLA player that wants to be in El Paso, Texas at this time.
Sucks.
And so maybe Pittsburgh players just like, hey, at least we can go to maybe warmth. Texas can get kind of crazy in the winter too. That UCLA lays an egg in this game. They're not there to play. They want to be back in LA. Get me back to LA. Give me Pittsburgh all day long. And for your gambling folk, that's a +6 spread. Take Pitt money line. Next, we got the Gator Bowl. Also, an interesting matchup. South Carolina, who's been the giant beaters here lately, versus Notre Dame, who started slow but had some big wins late.
They beat
All right,
some
Shane,
wins
what
to
do you think?
I love South Carolina here. They've been on a heater. Now, Marcus Freeman started slow in Notre Dame, but he's come on as of late, and he's had some signature wins, especially the one over Clemson. I think it was a beatdown, 34-10 or 12 or something. I don't know, something stupid. So it's not going to be an easy win for South Carolina. I think Notre Dame's finally clicking. They're 2.5-point favorites. It's almost a coin flip. It's in Florida, so I kind of lean South Carolina there for the Florida home crowd. So I'm going to go South Carolina just because of the heater they've been on, beating Clemson and UT, in the last couple of days.
All right. Tom, what do you think?
Well, you mentioned that it's in Florida, and if there's one team that travels really well, it's Notre Dame. And they definitely figured things out after that Marshall game, that really bad loss. But then again, Spencer Rattler decided that he wanted to play college football all of a sudden, especially against Tennessee. running the stadium out of fireworks. He scored so many points, but yeah, it's going to be a big test. I think this is going to be the best defense that he's seen. Obviously in the last 3 or 4 games. I just like what Notre Dame's been able to accomplish toward the end of the season. Marcus Freeman's really got him rolling. I do think there's going to be a strong presence of Notre Dame fans. And in honor of my good buddy Bill, who's a Notre Dame grad, I'm going to take the Fighting Irish.
All right, Raj, what do you think?
This is a tough one. Notre Dame is losing 2 first-round picks. Their best player, Michael Mayer, the tight end. Their best defender, defensive lineman, Isaiah Foskey, had 12 sacks. Their starting quarterback, Drew Pine, entered the portal. Backup, Tyler Buckner, who was once a starter, was not good. He got hurt. His status is up in the air. Yes, South Carolina has won 2 big games, but for some reason, even though I had written down and I was all sure to go South Carolina, Notre Dame probably is going to have their 3rd string backup, who I don't even know who that is. But this is tough. I mean, South Carolina is losing their tight ends, but that's it. Notre Dame has awesome running backs. Being said, they're going to be too one-dimensional the more I think about it. I'll take South Carolina in an ugly game. What's the over-under on this game? Because I'll take the under, whatever.
52.
I'll take the under. That's my.
I agree with that.
If Notre Dame won.
This is my number 1 on the confidence scale. I mean, I'm least confident about this game. I think Notre Dame. Well, Notre Dame and South Carolina are playing very well down the stretch. I think South Carolina's been tested better late, so I'm going South Carolina. But not feeling good about it. A quick talk, Wyoming, Ohio, just say one.
Ohio.
I'm going to go to the Fighting Josh Allens. Give me Wyoming.
All right, I'll take
You
Ohio.
just can't say Ohio, can you?
Oh, no.
All right, so
I'm not one of those guys.
Next up is the Orange Bowl.
That team down south.
The truly Orange Bowl. Clemson at 11-2 versus Tennessee at 10-2. A lot of opt-outs, a lot of transfer portal players in this game. So what we're going to see on the field, I don't think is going to be what was actually in the regular season. Clemson's favored by 7. It's bumped down to 6.5, I think. Yeah. So, Tom, what do you think about this game?
I don't trust Joe Milton. As a Michigan fan, he did nothing but disappoint. After his glorious debut here, he did nothing after that. I think Clemson showed they did the wrong thing for the last couple, at least for the most of this season, in playing DJ. I'm not even going to pronounce his last name. So their backup, who Raj, help me out. What's his name?
Cade Klubnik.
Klubnik came in, and not only did he look really good his last outing, he did that earlier in the season. They brought him in, and it led them to a win. I don't really know why he wasn't their starter for the majority of the season, but I think Clemson built something there with Klubnik, and Dabo's going to pull some strings. Tennessee, I don't know if they have the defense. And like I said, Joe Milton, I do not trust as much as QB1 wants to say Josh Heupel is the quarterback whisperer. I'm not buying it here. Although there is a loophole, their highly touted $8 million recruit can play in this game if they wanted him to. But no, it'll be Milton, and give me the Tigers, Clemson.
Raj.
Dude, this is a really tough one. This would be really low. Tennessee losing Hyatt and Cedric Tillman and Noah Hooker. They can still run the ball, deep receiving room. But, yeah, I don't like Joe Milton. Klubnik is a highly rated guy. I didn't think he played very well throughout the year. He played well against North Carolina, 20 for 24, like 200 yards, a couple TDs. But now knowing he's the guy, having a month to run the offense, no other option. Will Shipley is still there. Even though I think Clemson is fool's gold, I think the attrition at Tennessee and the fact that Hooker is not playing, I'm going to go with Clemson, but this could go either way. And I definitely think Tennessee has better athletes overall.
Shane.
Oh, and Clemson is losing their two best defenders too.
Yeah, I just haven't been a believer in Clemson all year. And, they proved that kind of as of late. Even though Tennessee has been wounded pretty hefty, I still like Tennessee in this one. And disclaimer to everyone watching, I'm not a Vols fan, by the way, even though I live here. But I do like Tennessee over Clemson here. I just haven't seen a lot out of Clemson that I really liked. I go back to the eye test, and even Tennessee and Heupel, what he's done, and the second and third string guys, are just a little bit more athletic, and could probably start in a Clemson scenario. So for that reason, even though it's Milton and he came from the team up north, and I don't like him, he's serviceable, and I think Heupel will take that, whatever strengths he has, because God knows I have no idea. Whatever strengths he does have, I think Heupel will take those and definitely capitalize on them. So I am betting on the coach here. I don't think we talked about QB1 saying he's an all-time top 10. He's not there yet, but he's a damn good coach. So I'll put my money on him.
Yeah, so I will say this. I thought what Kirby Smart said when he played Tennessee, when Tennessee was on this run, he said, I got 60 minutes of film to watch what Nick Saban did against Heupel and what did and did not work, and then I corrected it. And that's what worries me in this first bowl matchup. Does Dabo have 4 weeks to watch what Tennessee does and figure it out how to stop it? And without Tillman and without Hyatt, I'm not because it is this Leach influenced offense where you run to where it's open and they'll pass it to you. And so I'm not comfortable going to this game. For that reason, I'm going to take Clemson in this game. But this will be a low confidence pick also. So for the sake of time, guys, we have 143 minutes left. Let's skip down to the Sugar Bowl. Let's talk briefly about so we'll do Sugar Bowl, Fiesta Peach, and then the Reala Quest Bowl and the Cotton Bowl. And if we see how we have time.
Do we know about the Alabama kids? Are they playing? By the way, Rob, UCLA is up 35 at Maryland in the second half basketball. Yikes. Are Young and Gibbs and Anderson more battle? Are they all playing? What's the deal? I doubt they are, but I don't know.
I can't imagine they are. I think no, has Young announced yet? Is he?
I mean, he's definitely going pro. I don't know why he would. This goes back to me, just bottom line, who wants to be there? For Kansas State, this is their Super Bowl. Give me Kansas State.
I agree. Yeah. What Kansas State did with TCU, I mean, that was a hell of a game. And now they're in the top 10, and now it's their opportunity to prove that they belong there and build off that. Alabama has no defense. And if Bryce Young and Gibbs do not play, that's a death nail for them. Give me the Wildcats.
Yeah. Brandon, who do you like?
I agree with you guys. I think Alabama's checked out. Saban made his lobby during the, announcement show or whatever. Somehow he was the only coach to get on, and lobby for his team. But yeah, they're all checked out at this point.
Yeah, I agree. I like Kansas State also, but I will backtrack. Let's go back. The Music City Bowl, which is probably one of the second tier bowls, got one of the worst matchups ever. Who do you guys like between Iowa and Kentucky? Or you see me
do we have to watch this game?
Yeah,
like seriously.
I guess Iowa, because Kentucky's without their only two good offensive players, but I think it's going to be 3-2 final. Coin flip as to
what's it? Levis is the quarterback, right?
He's declared.
He's declared. So he's not even playing.
Quarterback. That's insane.
The scouts
is that behind Henderson in Florida? They're like projecting that dude to be super high. So I don't know.
I don't like either.
Move on to serious talk. So the Fiesta Bowl. Now we're into the meat and potatoes. Michigan, TCU, and Glendale. Tom, we'll let you go last. Brandon, what do you think first?
Team Up North wins this one. They're 7.5-point favorites. TCU, they've been on some heaters and edges as of late. They pulled it out, minus the championship. But Michigan's too big, too fast, too strong, and dare I say, well coached under Harbaugh.
I'll be quick. Better teams usually win in this game with this time to prepare. Give me Michigan. TCU's a great run, but Michigan wins. Raj?
Absolutely the same. Bigger, stronger, faster, especially in the trenches. My one question to Tom is Maisie Smith, the kid that he has the legal. They're pretty confident that it'll be dropped, right? And I think the charges, he's supposed to appear on the 29th. And then Mark Morris, what's his status? The outstanding edge defender for Michigan.
Maisie the charges have been dropped to a misdemeanor. Ward Manuel said that he fully expects him to participate. And Mike Morris, as far as I know, he's supposed to play, but I haven't heard anything definitive.
Is that the gun charge?
Yeah.
It's still a misdemeanor, but we know Harbaugh ain't disciplining anybody, so he'll play.
The judge basically said that everything was done the right way, and the judge is the one that gave them permission to let him travel and play. So they're following the judge's orders here. So, but he didn't play much in the Big Ten championship game, so they didn't really need him. So.
Yeah.
All right.
And they won't hear.
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, I think Michigan's on a mission. I think we can say it by now. Obviously, J.J. McCarthy has earned that position as number one quarterback. Losing what was their best running back in Blake Corum, next man up with Donovan Edwards. It's a different team this year. I think they're hell-bent on getting back in a possible rematch against Georgia for all the marbles. So with that being said, I think Michigan goes in there and it's a good story with TCU, but I think Michigan's probably one of the most well-rounded teams in the country. So they play well both offensive, defensively, and special teams. So give me the Wolverines here.
All right, so it's unanimous. All right, so now we go to Atlanta, Georgia, and the Bulldogs versus the Buckeyes. We will let Brandon go last. We will start with Raj. Raj, what do you think about this game? Who wins and why?
I mean, Georgia, it's, they're kind of Michigan 2.0 in some senses. Maybe not. I mean, similar at quarterback, maybe not the same running backs, but they're just so talented. And they're kind of a no-name version of Georgia, being said they're all 5 stars. And when they want to play, they don't lose, and they show it. And My only issue is, like, do they think they can show up and just win and start preparing for the Natty? I don't know, but Ohio State's without JSN. They're without Travion. They're without Mayan Williams. CJ Stroud, what's his legacy going to be? Because in big games, he doesn't win them, it seems like. And I know that's a lot of the talk in Columbus. Ultra talented kid, don't get me wrong. But in the end, I think this game will be closer than expected, but you just got to go with the athletes that Georgia has.
Tom?
Yeah, I got to be honest. The spread really surprises me. Georgia's 6.5. I would have thought it would be a little bit more. I think Vegas thinks that Ohio State's going to come out fighting, and I think I talked about it last week. It's going to be a first half of this game is going to be really close, and Ohio State's going to show why everybody that they belonged in the number 4 spot. But I think that the experience and just the overall size, Georgia's massive on both sides of the ball. They'll pull this one out, and I think they'll cover.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like, we're in the tournament now, right? So anything can happen. But the team I saw that played Tennessee, that was men amongst boys, and like they just, I mean, that's what recruiting 5 stars and 5 stars and 5 stars stacked on top of each other looks like. Not that Ohio State hasn't, not that Michigan has. Michigan saw it last year though. Like it's different. It's a different speed. It's a different game.
They were not prepared for that.
I think the spread's about right. I would take Georgia to cover, and I will take Georgia to win in this bowl pick'em. Brandon?
Yeah. So you talk about different speed, and the thing is now the Big Ten is actually recruiting the same players, especially Ohio State and Michigan, as the SEC, Georgia's, Tennessee, Alabama, same guys. They're all going after the same guys. So I don't necessarily think I think there's a transitional period right now. Maybe they're still trying to catch up with the SEC. I could see that. But that overall said, yeah. So Georgia against Tennessee's defense, which was one of the worst in the country. Best offense in the country, but one of the worst defenses in the country.
Absolutely.
Only put up 27 points. So the bias in me, here's my fanboy reaching. If we can put up points, and we have in my opinion, better defense than Tennessee this year. We're better than we've been in the past few years. So I think if we can put up, 40 points on Georgia, now Georgia's defense is phenomenal. Let's not get that twisted. But I'm saying it comes down to points. Yes, your money should be on Georgia. I'm not betting on this game. I never bet on Ohio State, very rarely. Yes, do I want them to win? Of course. Do they have a chance to win? I think so. Outside chance. This could be like 2014 where they thought Alabama would run over Ohio State and didn't happen. We beat the crap out of them. Who knows? I mean, obviously with the showing in Michigan, there's a little bit of a chip on our shoulder.
Urban Meyer's not walking through that door.
Urban Meyer's not. And we're going to see what
Ryan Day
and Jim
but
Knowles
he's not Urban Meyer.
is really – no. They made zero – we talked about this last – they made zero halftime adjustments. Hopefully they learn from that and they can adjust. If not, then, there's going to be some axes, pulled out and people calling for his head.
Who are you taking? Who are you taking?
I'm taking Ohio State.
All right. Good deal. All right. So, we're going to go to the no-win bowl, and then we're going to go back to the Reality Quest Bowl, talk about Mike Leach, and then predict that game. The No Win Bowl, though, I'm not sure if Raj has been here before, but it is the power conference going against the small conference. And so it is USC versus Tulane. So there's no winning for USC in this game. So Raj, what do you think is going to happen?
Yikes. Tulane's got a strong Michael Pratt quarterback and the best running back you've never heard of, Tyjae Spears, who ended the season with like 600 or 700-yard games. Great back. USC is without their All-American left tackle, their center, who was on second or third team All-American on some services. If Caleb Williams plays, Caleb Williams, the Heisman Trophy winner, number 8 at USC, most all-time plays, then I'll take USC. Tulane's defense is not good. They can't stop the run, and Williams is just that good. But I don't know why he would. I thought they'd announced by now. They've actually given zero update even after the Heisman.
Well, USC's only -1.5 right now, so it's
that's without Caleb. You have to presume that's without Caleb Williams, right?
Yeah.
And the backup Miller Moss is solid, but this is Tulane's Super Bowl. It really is, and they're not that far away from Dallas. USC went from like the cusp of the playoffs to playing Tulane. I mean, Tennessee was about to play Tulane. They were thanking Utah, Vol Nation, and Vol Twitter for beating the crap out of USC, so Tennessee didn't have to play Tulane. It's a no-win situation.
It's amazing.
Dude, they are very powerful. It's a no-win situation for USC. I don't see Caleb playing. I don't think they want to be there.
I don't think Caleb can play because Tulane's too many letters to paint on his fingers.
Burn. He can paint like wave on the back, green wave.
I mean, he might have to cut off a shoe or something.
He doesn't care enough. I don't think he cares enough to get a manicure for the Tulane.
Well, he just won the Heisman, so.
Yeah, why play? Especially with a hamstring that he heard pop.
All right, Raj, what's your prediction?
Sorry. USC bigger, stronger, faster, but they don't care. They're not going to be there. Caleb won't play. I'll take Tulane in an ugly game.
All right, Chase.
Take the under on this game. Under.
I like Tulane and the under for the reasons Caleb ran out of fingers and is not playing.
All right. Tom, what do you got?
This game reminds me a lot of the Boise State. I believe they played Oklahoma State several years ago in a bowl when they had the the Statue of Liberty play to win
Oklahoma.
Yeah.
It was Oklahoma.
The running back proposed to his girlfriend.
Exactly. This game reminds me of that powerhouse USC with an up and coming Tulane. You're right, Raj. This game means everything to them. Playing at Jerry Jones' home. Give me the green wave. I just think this is a game where these kids are going to be so fired up to play and prove they belong.
All right. So if people have watched us this long, then they're obviously college football fans. And everyone knows over this week we have lost a giant in the college football world. And really the story of college football and actually how college football is played. Well, actually not college football, high school football, the NFL, everything is played now that's based a little bit about the air raid and this kind of spread offense system. It's made a lot of different people quarterbacks, and let's be honest, it's made a lot of minorities who wouldn't be quarterbacks because you spread the field out and you can run more. And just a giant personality. And I'll share just some of the few just quick things that I've read or heard about him. Just the fact that he walked 3 miles to and from work and would talk to any reporters, and the fact that he was just always open to talk about what mascots would beat mascots in the divisions, like just such great stories and so anti-coach speak, what we're accustomed to. And I will say this, he was consistently my second favorite coach to root for every Saturday, every week he was a coach. And I think that was somewhat consistent, if not pretty consistent, if not extremely consistent. And for one, life lessons. If you want to do something, just do it. Don't wait. You're not promised for forever, and just do it. And that's it. But yeah, R.I.P. Pirate. Tom, if you want to say something.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of made the game not so. It just he gave a different view of the game of football. Like, didn't take it so serious. And there was the clip I was watching about. He was asked about candy corn, and just his analogy of candy corn and why it doesn't belong. And he decided at a young age of 3 that there's only one reason to bring candy corn out one time a year. It was a different perspective, and the way coaches are these days, they go out of their way to say nothing. This guy laid it all on the table, and he was a treat. And it was one of those situations that I think we all took for granted while he was here, that this guy, and now he's gone, and you're gonna miss the sound bites that he had, and his hair out of control, and just. He was a gem. He was a treasure, and he will be missed. And I think his team is definitely gonna rally around that. And I don't understand why Illinois is favored in this game, but I think Ole Miss is gonna or Mississippi State's gonna go in there with heavy hearts and win it for Mike Leach. So.
Yeah, Raj, I need to say he spent a lot of time in your conference, or not a lot of time, but some time in your conference.
Yeah, you nailed it. First of all, with his perspective on the game, and especially at a time when at Oklahoma and even before that, you just didn't deviate from the way football was played. You didn't have players built like that, offenses, schemes, everything, and Mike Leach didn't care. He was a person who had an amazing perspective on life. He was a teacher, and he did things with a smile, but almost everything, I read an article about even his subliminal messages. Like, I don't want to read too much into the candy corn thing, but he loved to teach while not teaching, if that makes sense. He was a master at, like I said, with perspective, and some of his best interview moments. There was actually a 2008 60 Minutes piece on him. And if 60 Minutes does a piece on you, let alone 14 years ago, you know that you're really a game-changing, pun intended, coach. Part of that interview, which is phenomenal, is he had a clip of him doing the weather on Texas, like a news station, which is just hilarious. His Pac-12 mascots. I mean, he just had an ability to put everything in perspective, whatever way that may be. Aside from being an innovator, and Rob says it best, he was an absolute equal rights individual, men, women, anything, ethnicities, didn't matter, didn't care. He didn't see people, color, gender. He was a guy that liked to put smiles on people's faces. And even in the Pac-12, you didn't even, we all respected him. It wasn't like, oh, here comes some goofy clown making people laugh. No, that wasn't Mike Leach. He was a man that demanded respect and, just didn't care what people thought, if I could boil it down. I remember, again, at Mississippi State, there's that clip of him folding chairs on the sideline of, the coach folding chairs because he said his players didn't deserve to sit down. They weren't trying and playing hard enough. And as a player, you turn around and see that. What are you thinking? And no one else in history could do that or get away with that. And that's what he was. He was an innovator in every sense of the word. They called him a pirate for a reason, because he just didn't give a shit. I'll say it. He didn't give a shit what you think, what he did, but he still had respect for people, and people respected him. And I rooted for the guy always. And he'll be severely missed. He's just a breath of fresh air, especially in this sport and, in the SEC where football and things are taken so seriously. I thought he was just really essential to this landscape in particular, and he'll definitely be missed.
Brandon, what are your thoughts on Mike Leach and what he leaves behind?
Well, that's, pretty tough to follow there, Raj. You said just about everything good you can say about this guy. He definitely was an innovator. You look at the tree he left behind of people that he coached or, coached with or under or whatever. And there's quite a legacy there. Lincoln Riley being one of the notable names at USC right now. He just thought outside the box. He trusted his players and, the innovative offense, thinking outside the box, not systematic. Okay, go ahead and run an option route and, trusting the IQ of the players and their football knowledge to where they could relate to the quarterbacks and the timing. And, that's all back scenes coaching that we don't see or we didn't hear about. And the list goes on, like how this guy changed the game and made people change in their thought process of, the restricted football that we were, kind of grew up with or whatever. He was at first meet introduction. He was somewhat of a strange character, but he was very blunt and always honest and very gracious and very charismatic. He could talk to anyone. He could listen to anyone, which I think is a big, big point about his personality was the listening factor. He learned a lot from people and listening. And I think, it's a sad loss. It's an unexpected loss. And, the whole football world and sports world and obviously his family, which is above all of that. It's, prayers, and it's just a sad ordeal. Too young for this situation.
I think you said it pretty damn well. Well said.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a sad event, and like reading all the stories. I will share one story that I read. It was from Urban Meyer, who, as y'all know, I think is the second greatest college coach of all time. He had Mike Leach come in to teach to teach Florida how to run their offense, and so Mike was controlling the offense, and it was just this same play, over and over again, because that's what Mike Leach did. And Urban was like, well, no, like, let's do something different. And they were literally butting heads over, and he was like, Urban was like, oh, this is not how we run things. And he's like, trust, like, just them two, like, just two giants of the game butting heads on Urban's field. And it's like, that, like, it kind of solidifies Mike Leach. Like, yeah, Urban is much higher statute than you are, but he didn't care. Like, it was just like, yeah, like, this is what I do.
He did not care.
Yeah. And so just
he was always one of the smartest people in the room.
Yeah,
always.
Absolutely. So that being said, boys, we have Mississippi State, Illinois, our last pick of the game, the RiverQuest game in Tampa. Mississippi State plus 2.5. I'm going on emotion. I think Mississippi State wins.
There's no chance. No chance that Mississippi State doesn't win this game. Everything they've got to it's going to be impossible. If we were doing the confidence thing, this is one that I'd put 41 on.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to put 41 on it. Yeah, I think so. Raj?
Same. Chase Brown, amazing running back, but if you're Illinois, I mean, this is awfully and terribly sad, but I mean, you got to not feel bad for Illinois, but you don't want to be the team playing Mississippi State right now. You just don't.
No.
All right. Final word. Well, one thing. Raj, what's the update on UCLA Maryland score?
Approved. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Regents.
No.
UC Regents approved UCLA's move.
I did see that. They got to get a little money to Berkeley, but that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to have to. UCLA, last I checked, was up by like 36, 37 at Maryland. They killed them. I think it's over.
All right, so bet your nuts, Tom.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we're going to go to the NFL. And coming off a huge win against your Tennessee Titans, the Jacksonville Jaguars at home against the Cowboys. I'm going with Jaguars here. +4. Give me the Jags. And then
the Titans are a mess.
I've got Tampa Bay at home against Cincinnati. Cincinnati's been playing really well. They're losing their edge rusher. His name escapes me. He got hurt last week. The kid out of Ohio State, Brandon.
Hendrickson, Cincinnati.
Hendrickson, yep. And Tampa has not looked good. I think they rebound. Give me the Buccaneers +3.5 at home.
All right, Raj, what do you got for us?
There's some tough ones. I'm going to go with Bill Belichick, even the Patriots at the Raiders. The Raiders are garbage, just awful. And, I'm definitely going with Belichick over Josh.
They are awful.
I will take the Patriots over the Raiders in a pick 'em all day, every day. Don't care. The Raiders suck.
Shane, what do you got?
I'm going to look at tomorrow night's game, 49ers and Seahawks here. I think the Seahawks bounce back. 49ers a little bit in disarray right now, so I like Seahawks +3.5.
Okay, I like it. So, always a bit tricky this time of year. I'm going to project that Arizona's -3 on Sunday against Tennessee. If it was me betting, I will take money line. If it's the people betting, take the points. But Tennessee is better than Arizona, even at home, even at Arizona. Tennessee's gonna win.
We're playing the Chargers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking about basketball.
Yeah. Balls.
I've moved on past our shitty Titans.
I was like,
Our Titans. We're gonna win the worst division or second worst division and get bounced on the playoffs.
It is.
We're in Jeff Fisher land all over again. We're just not very good. And just mid-round draft picks. All right, boys. Any final words? Tom, go with you first. And hey, hopefully you get over COVID pretty quickly.
Well, I don't have COVID. I don't believe. I just have a bit of an asthma issue.
You have like an 8-month case of COVID, right?
Yeah, right.
I have long COVID too, but
yeah, I think obviously this is a great time of year. Great time of year, and coming into the bowl game, and obviously we have to wait another week, but it's fun to do all these speculations, especially with a lot of games that God only knows we know nothing about, or myself doesn't know much about. So
I'm pretty sure we went 36-0 or 41-0.
We'll see. I can respect and I appreciate Raj's view of a lot of things. His expertise is without
unparalleled,
unbelievable. So
to the
I am
panel.
definitely appreciative of what he brings to this show. And
still wrong on all my picks, dude. Still always wrong.
But the
he
analysis
also
is
well, hey, before we get off here, Tom, I just want you to know these two down below are in the toilet bowl for last in fantasy football.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm playing Blake, I think.
I have a better record than you do.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Hey,
no way.
Again, all I got is 5 years in the league, 4 playoffs, 2 championships, 3 finals, and 1 last place. I just shit the bed in every way. Just every dumbass pick you could make went against all my philosophies, and first place in my other 2 leagues. But this league, the one I care about and hear about it the most, I'm just awful. It's embarrassing.
We have the same record, actually, Robbie.
Yeah, well, I'm going to win this week. You're going to lose. So
yeah. As much as you're talking trash right now, there are 2 teams that are worse than us, which Raj happens to be one of them.
And Blake, who I played in the finals twice. Boy, we both suck. But he's got 10 kids. I've got no excuse.
He does have 10 kids with the same woman, surprisingly.
he's like a hood rat with responsibilities.
Hey, sorry,
go ahead.
Kane's final words. I was just going to say, when we talked about Mike Leach and rest in peace, we all know about his coaching tree and the concepts, and Andy Reid and Mahomes and Lincoln Riley and all the coaches. You go down the line. Another interesting fact is he co-authored an extremely good book that I've only read parts of it because this is in my notes, and I knew about it, but I had forgotten. This is when he was at Wazoo, on Geronimo. And it was something like, the book was titled like The Leadership and War Strategies of Geronimo or something like that, like an actual full book on these types of strategies. Just a different cat, man, and who, like Brandon said, the smartest guy in the room, a lasting effect. And I'm actually on Amazon and about to buy the book because it sort of takes on a new meaning. I hate the guy passed for me to really look into this more, but I mean, just a brilliant person and innovator. Check out the book. It's Leadership Strategies of American Warrior by Buddy Levy and Mike Leach.
Well, what frustrates me...
Send that link to me, Raj.
What frustrates me, and this will be the last thing I'll say and I'll shut up. What frustrates me is that forever Tennessee was like, Tennessee flirted with Mike Leach many, many times. And it's like, how would he work in a big-time system? Well, look at Lincoln Riley. Look at Josh Heupel. That's how they would work. Like, they will work tremendously if you give them more talent. They will work, they will flourish. Like, don't be scared of the unknown, because if you give that genius level talent, they will do great things. And that's what Lincoln Riley's done. That's what Josh Heupel is doing, and he's going to do. It's all it's all from that same coaching tree. It's the same with Bill Walsh and Bill Belichick, I'll say Bill Parcells before Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick's coaching tree hasn't been great. Bill Parcells' coaching tree was great.
And I think this is something we can all look at and understand that, in certain times, his outside the box thinking and process was frowned upon because it wasn't the systematic football way. People thought he was crazy. He was very outspoken, very blunt. And it was just like, do we want this guy really on a podium talking about our school and being the face of it? So I think some of that got, acknowledged and put on the forefront. But now look at today's society and his coaching tree. whether it be player or coach, and what they've done and established, and look at the differences they've made and changes in the systematic football, run, pass, throw, catch type of deal, thinking outside the box. I think that's a big influence. Mike Leach forever changed college football. And, there's no person that understands college football that would never disagree with that. So,
and not only college football, like extraordinarily changed high school football. From that those Texas Tech days, that
absolutely
changed the entire nation of college or high school football, and then that went to college, then went to the pros. Like that changed everything.
Well, and it sometimes it takes brilliant minds outside the box like that, like Leach, to make and really implicate and influence change. Maybe it didn't happen quite as fast as he expected up the ranks. Personally, we all probably agree that he should have been higher relegated or allocated in coaching positions than what he was kind of passed around as. But times
he also
have changed.
relished that. He relished the underdog. And reading this about Geronimo, he's had basically, when he was a kid playing Cowboys and Indians, he always chose the Indian. He always wanted to be different. He always wanted to be the underdog. Sure. And he relished that opportunity and the fight that the underdog, those that you don't appreciate or expect much from or anticipate. And that was Mike Leach.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and I talked about how Knoxville or UT flirted with him. I'm not sure he would have liked Knoxville because it's not an outpost. It's not a, hey, I'm just going to walk to the grocery store. I'm going to walk to the candy store or whatever it is and just be me. Like, no, it's you're swarming people. Like, it's not Lubbock. It's not Pullman, and it's not Starkville.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not him. If he doesn't have the chance to talk to you, get to know you, then that's definitely not his style. And plus, he went to these landscapes where you had the freedom to be yourself, really. And Knoxville is either win and we'll see, or
it's live or die by the sword.
There's not much TV.
Well, Raj, you're as big as basketball fan as I am. They want to crucify Rick Barnes after every loss, and he's one of the most successful coaches in history, and they want to crucify him after every loss. It's like that's not a place for a lot of people.
Yeah, exactly.
So, just sidebar, in my experience growing up with, no offense to your Vols fans, but Vols fans and Tennessee Titans fans, the same. Yeah. As soon as something bad happens, there's a crucifixion about to happen. Like they want to throw everyone under the bus. Head coaches first. So that's been going on with kind of Titans as well right now. So
the only people that are happy in Tennessee are the Predators, because it's like, we don't really understand what's going on. But all right, guys, we've been on here for 2.5 hours now. We probably need to end and call it a day. We may or may not be back next week. We will talk to Randall about that and everyone's travel schedules. I would say it's doubtful, but we may have one. If not, we'll have one in the early new year, the Wednesday
first
after
week in January.
And so subscribe. Everyone have a happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I guess anything else you guys want to say?
No, man.
Nope. R.I.P. Leach, the pirate.
Yeah, dude. Rest in peace, and let's see how the portal affects these bowl games.
Sure.
Yeah. Yes. And we'll talk Chris Beard next time we get on.
Whew. See you guys.
Adios.
See you, boys.